Okay, so yesterday I watched the next couple episodes of Symphogear GX. It was episode 4, episode 5. Short version of episode 4. Beaky still isn't able to sing, so Maria ends up showing up and fighting the auto scorer and the noise. She ends up using Gungar, and it turns back into the black Gungar, which is cool to see again. She's able to kick some ass, but she has the same problems as Akka and Suku, which is without the linker, she is not very compatible. So you do get like she's like trickling blood from her lips, she's bleeding from her eyes. She is not doing okay, but she's able to fight off the doll. I can't remember her name. I know it starts with a G. It's like I want to say it's like Gar. It's like Garie, like Carrie, but with a G, if I'm remembering correctly. I'll probably try to pay better attention to it in the next episode, because it was either in this episode or the next one. They named all of them. Carol, Elf9. One of them was Farah. I think that was either the one with the coins or the one with the wind swords. Layer, I think, was one. It was like Luier, something close to that. Mika, which is the red one. And then the blue one, yeah, I think it was like Carrie, but with a G, so it's like Gary? Anyways, Maria fought her for a bit until she's like, okay, like you're kind of boring. You can't last very long. I'm just gonna dip. So she has water powers. She can kiss people and steal their life force. She just straight up has an AT field shield. I was like, okay, that was kind of cool. I guess there's an element vibe with the alchemist. So like the one with the sword, she's clearly wind. The coin girl, I don't know what element that is. It's like, okay, so you're not air, because that's what the other one is. That doesn't scream earth. It's like velocity, maybe magnetism. So maybe it's like an electricity thing. I don't know. This girl's clearly water. Excuse me. And then Micah, I'm not sure. I think it's Mika, is fire. So I guess that leaves coin as earth, because I don't think Carol has an element. I think Carol's just kind of all in one. So I don't know. Maybe you can argue that magnetism is a form of earth manipulation? Maybe that's what they're going for. I don't know. Maybe we'll see more of the coin lady and kind of get a better idea of what she can do. Maria shows up, uses Gungar. The other girl ends up leaving. And Beaky gets kind of mad at her. She just snatches Gungar back. She's like, that's mine. Don't you use it. Don't use it to hurt other people. That's not what it's for. It was kind of weird. It's like, okay. And it doesn't last for very long. Like, she grabs it, says some shit, and then kind of has a look on her face like, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't know what came over me. I shouldn't have said that. Might be. I'm like, okay. Like, are you okay, Doug? Like, are you good? She's very clearly not all right. There's a scene where Maria and her girls go visit their mom's grave, and I wasn't exactly clear that she died. So I guess what happened in the first 6 minutes was she had died. They were just bringing her body back to Earth. I thought it was they found her, and it was a rescue mission because she was still alive, and she was just asleep when they brought her. So I misunderstood that, but she is dead. What else happened in that episode? Let me look at my notes. Oh, I remember now, because, Beaky's still having trouble, like, motivating herself, wanting to fight and shit. She gets ambushed by Mika, who's like, cool, so here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna transform, and if you don't, you see your friend up there, points at Miku, I'm gonna kill her. I am going to slowly dissect her until you transform. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to start killing and dissecting other people until you transform. So you better fucking do it soon. And yeah, all it takes is Miku being in danger for Beaky to transform. That happens. She starts beating the shit out of Mika. And then Mika just disperses and turns into water. And then fucking Gary is over there in the background going like, hee. Ever watch Naruto? I turned her into a clone. And like, you just beat the substitution jutsu. And then Mika fucking spears Gungar. It shatters. Beaky is all the way up in the air and then falls, 30 feet to the ground, and she's not fine. She's hospitalized. The look in her eyes, she looks dead. And it's the kind of thing, it's like with Chris in season 1, is like, you fell from a really long height without a gear. Because your gear was just taken off because you got fucked up. You should be dead. I'm glad you're not. I like you. but you should be dead after that. Like, we're it's the phrase, like, the suspension of disbelief. It's like, I'm watching fucking Symphogear. There kind of is no suspension of or like, there's a massive suspension of disbelief. But that's bullshit. Like, I can call bullshit on that. Let's see. Was there anything else really in this episode? Not really. And then, what the fuck does that even say? I'm not even sure what that's on. And then moving on to the next episode. So there's this thing called Project Ignite, I believe is what it was, which is them trying to rebuild the Symphogears, or at least like reinforce them. Elf 9, which is the other Carol, like the Carol homunculi, is helping with them. She has some flashbacks and memories of Carol's life with her dad, which was a really sweet thing. I enjoyed it. And the vibe I'm seeming to get is either A, Elf 9 is a real person, and she is just straight up Carol's twin, and that's why she has some of these memories. Or, what I really think it is, it's Carol essentially took the more, like, good or innocent parts of herself and kind of transferred those memories. Essentially, like, I'm going to do the thing that I believe my dad wanted me to do. And maybe we'll get to a point where it's like, oh, I completely misunderstood my dad's legacy. Fuck. But at the very least, it's like, this is what I think he wants me to do, and I'm going to do it. But I can't have a conscience. I can't have, like, empathy or mercy or anything like that. So I'm going to take those traits and I'm going to put it into a vessel. And that vessel is essentially going to be another version of me. So, like, essentially my father's daughter can live on while I can do the things I need to do. Excuse me. That's the vibe I'm currently getting. I'll see if I'm right. I might be completely right. I might be off, but on the right track. Or I might be completely fucking off. But that's what I think so far. Elf 9 is helping them make the Project Ignite go, but they need more time. I don't remember if specifically I don't remember what the building was. If it was the Song headquarters or it was just a place. But there was a building getting attacked by Mika and some noise. Akka and Suku go and they steal some liquor from the hospital room that Biki is in, which is kind of funny. Eject themselves, start fighting. Okay, this isn't enough. Let's do it again. So they do another injection. Mika's like, oh boy! Now that you're, like, overdosing on drugs, you don't fucking suck. I can have fun. And then she's having a good time. And then she gets to a point where she's like, okay, I'm gonna fucking win now, though. And then just kind of curb stomps him. There was some cool shit. I'm trying to remember. At one point, I remember Suku, like, her skirt just turned into a buzzsaw. That was really cool. That was a lot of fun. Let's see. No, I think that was really the one cool thing that I wrote down. Oh, there's also a part where they both, like, as they're singing, do, like, a giant dive kick. And, like, I love dive kicks. The sword dive kick has been my favorite of the series so far. But I'm always a sucker for those. We did get another sighting of the Mr. Garrison wheel. The only other things is Biki had a short flashback to her father. It was that flashback back from season 2 where she's in, like, it's black and white. She's in school. Was it black and white? I think it was in black and white. Where she's in school, she's getting bullied. She comes back home. There's her mom and her grandma, but no dad. And then just this shot of, like, her dad back facing her, just walking away. The implication being that he left the family. I would assume it was after that incident happened. Which, from my understanding, because it hasn't been, like, clearly stated, my understanding with what I know about the show is it was that incident from episode 1. It was going to that Tsubasa Kanade concert and being the only survivor. Being the only survivor of this big incident is what people be like, yo, murderer, you're a fucking problem, you should die and be like them, blah, blah, blah. Possibly blaming her specifically for Kanade dying. It sounds like because she survived a noise incident, she and her family were given money. It was some kind of like some kind of government subsidies, like, hey, you went through some serious shit. Here's some money for it. Kind of like a FEMA thing, but instead of a natural, I mean, I guess noise in a sense are a natural disaster. So because you survived, you're getting money, and that's why people were calling her a thief. And around that time, her dad left the family. Which is why when Carol's like, yeah, I have a legacy from my dad, you could probably understand that. She's like, no, I literally can't. I fucking don't. But at the end of the episode, Suku's relic breaks, Akka's breaks, and technically those were reversed. All hope is lost, and then Chris and Sub show up with their new gears and are ready to fight. That only took 10 minutes. Like, I really don't... Like, there's definitely stuff that happened in episodes 4 and 5, but even as I was watching, I was like, it doesn't feel like, man, I've got a lot to fucking talk about or a lot to really dissect like I did with the first 3 episodes, which isn't inherently a bad thing. I feel like those first 3 episodes were just so fucking good and just so packed. It's a little disappointing that the momentum kind of went down a little bit, but even still, cool shit happened. Cool fights were... It was mostly just, even if there's not a lot of specifics to say, the auto scores just are really cool. I like watching the way they fight. I love watching the way they move. I love their designs. And I was like, why do they look like freaky ass dolls? Oh, it's because they are. Like, their designs are really cool. Like, they make a lot of sense. I fucking love that. Also, yesterday, I did watch the next episode of Pokemon Horizon. So I remember in last week, when I had said, I was like, man, like, I haven't been talking about Horizon and, like, doing weekly things like I was with Aim to be a Master in Northern War, because I don't have a whole lot to say about it. But man, this episode was so good, I want to talk about it as well with Symphogear. I took notes while watching the new episode of Horizon, like I have been with Symphogear. There's really not a lot to say. It was enjoyable. I liked it. Which is generally what I think about Horizons. Like, I'm having a lot of fun watching this every week. The only thing to really say is there's this whole Master Blaster thing with Roy getting his Fuecoco on his back and then Wattrel on its back, and they try to make a giant tower, and it both makes sense in context, but also in context, everyone else is like, what the fuck is he doing? This is really dumb. But it was cool, it was fun. There's a lot of fun interactions. I think I said this last week too. Roy is my favorite character because I love just how infectious his energy is. And I love his relationship with Fuecoco, with Hogator. Okay. And like they're fucking singing, and then Wattrel's like, these guys are idiots. But then he starts singing along with them. It's really nice. It's really sweet. And I love Captain Pikachu. I love that it's just a Pikachu with a sailor cap. It just does it for me. It makes me happy. That's kind of it. Not a whole lot to say about that or the other 2 episodes, but I plan on watching another couple episodes of Symphogear today, so that should be... That should be 6 and 7. Hopefully they're really good. Hopefully I'll watch and be like, I got a lot of crazy fucking shit to talk about, but I guess we'll see when I get there.